It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a small card game, a trick-taking game called Ebbes. This is sort of an indie production, and it in many ways feels like a traditional trick-taking game. You play cards, you follow suit, highest card wins, that sort of thing. But there's a couple of interesting twists in here, and the big one is that some of the important things you have to decide in a game, in a trick-taking game, are not decided before you start playing cards, but as you are playing cards. Let me show you what I'm talking about, then we'll come on back and I'll tell you if those twists make for a good game. So here's most everything you get with the game. You get the board, which will be a scoring track, as well as a place for some cards down here. And then you get the deck of cards. I've removed the 9s and above from the deck of cards for a game with 4 players, so we're going to put these aside for now. There's also these cards here numbered 1 through 5, but there are other numbers, which again I'm going to put aside because they are for a variant. And we are going to shuffle up the deck of cards and deal them out to all the players. The 5 suits in the game are represented by these flags here. So these are the colors in the game, and we are attempting to get the most points, of course. And so what you are going to be doing is playing tricks in the game, trying to acquire the right cards and not get the ones that are going to penalize you. Here's how this works. We're going to shuffle out the deck and we're going to flip over one of these cards. That number designates when certain things are going to trigger in the game. So I'm just going to pass some of these out for now, not worrying about it too much. So we'll just do that, all right? Obviously, those would have been dealt out correctly. And then you have a start player who is going to play a card. And the 3s, in this case, are of particular importance, all right? So I'm going to play a card. It'll be the 8 in yellow. The next player would then follow suit if they can. So they'll play this 4 here. This player would follow suit. And in this case, boom, they have to play this yellow 3 because it's the only yellow they have. As soon as the number in question here hits the table, then we are going to pick that color flag from the ones left over and add it to the first category down here, all right? And this very first one designates trump. And so we've just picked that yellow will be trump for the rest of this hand. This player will play. They have 1 yellow card there, all right? And this goes to the highest card of the color that led, unless there's any trump at all, in which case highest trump is the winner. So this player takes this, and they're going to play another card. As soon as another 3 hits the table, like this one here, then we once again pick that color flag, we add it to the next spot, and everyone continues following suit, etc. This category represents cards that are going to give you positive points, the plus. So for each one of these in your score pile at the end of the game, 1 bonus point that you'll track on the board here. And so on for these. Eventually the other 3 will hit. I'll tell you what that does in 1 sec. And then finally when the blue 3 comes out for here, we play both this one and the last because there is no choice for the last one, all right? And so again, trump beats the other suits. The plus cards means that each one of those will be a point. The minus cards means each card in that color is a negative point. The ebbes card means, the word sort of means something, like some but not all. And so the idea is you don't want to have the least and you don't want to have the most. In fact, whoever has the least of green, the fewest green cards, whoever has the most green cards, those 2 players get nothing. Everyone else gets 3 bonus points. And then finally this one, whoever has the most of that color simply gets to go first, or has to go first, in the next round. This continues until you've played out all the tricks. Then you figure out what score you've gotten by looking through your hand. So let's say these are all the cards I took. I have 3 green cards. Let's say I'm somewhere in the middle with that, okay, with this one, and I'll be the orange player. So I get 3 points for this one, the something category. I'm neither the one with the fewest nor the most. We're assuming that. And then I get a bonus point for each brown card, 1, 2, 3, or red card rather, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I would lose a point for every blue card. So let's say I had 1 there, I would lose a point, and that's how you score the game. Shuffle this up, play again until the game is over, and that's pretty much how you play ebbes. So now you have a good idea of how the game works. Next round, you would simply bury that card, flip over a new one, and that will be the new trigger card for that round. That's pretty much it. So let's go back up top and let me tell you a little bit about this trick-taking game. So there you have it. First thing I will say is that I find the look of the game, the cover, the cards, everything to be very drab, very unexciting. The colors are muted. It's not a game that's going to pop off the shelf, right? And that's okay. It's, again, a very indie production. It's sort of a passion project, from what I understand, for its maker. But I am glad they made it, and I'm glad they had that passion project because the game is neat. It's one that I've enjoyed playing, and it's one where the twist leads to perhaps a game that's a little bit luckier, but one that has a little more interest in the actual playing out of the cards. A lot of trick-taking games, sometimes you decide several things at the beginning of the hand, and then the playing of the cards is almost procedural. It's just a means to an end. And so I like that in this one, playing the cards and when you play them and which number not only wins tricks and all of that and scores points, but you are deciding things at different points in the game that matter, that are interesting. And you know, sometimes it takes several tricks before a trump is decided. And at that point, things change a little bit. At that point, if you wasted a card of that color, you messed up a little bit. And so I like all those things. And deciding which suit is good, which one's bad, which happens considerably later. And so once the first 2 suits have been picked, you got to be careful. You're not scoring a lot of the cards that could end up being the bad suit, right? And so I enjoy those. They're minor choices. Again, the game is light, but they are choices and they are interesting. And so, yeah, I would recommend this one. It scales well. It's 3 to 5 players. It's well produced. It's not pretty, but it is well made. The cards are well made, box is well made, rules are solid, and so it's one I'm happy to. Excuse me. It's one I'm happy to own. It's one that I enjoy having in my collection, and one that I'm always happy to bring out and play. So that's it for this one. Ebbes is going to get a seal of approval from me. It's one that I would say if you spot it somewhere, if you come across it, or if maybe you have it on your shelf, haven't played it in a while, give it another spin, or go ahead, do not be intimidated by the box cover, grab it off the shelf and give it a whirl yourself. Seal of approval, ebbes. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.